Hi, I'm Deborah Henson-Conant, also known as Deborah Henson-Conant, also known as DHC. And it is now the third day of the 5-day Harp Improv Challenge ADVENTURE. And this is the challenge, the adventure, where you learn how to play the power progression, which helps you improvise, it helps you modulate. You can play it really big and lush, or you can play it really simple. And whichever way you play it, you get to develop it at your level of technical ability. It is gorgeous, played simply. It is fun to expand it to all its lusciousness, and it is the doorway to improvisation. What I want to do today is to read you some of the comments that we've been getting. So part of what's really fun about this challenge is that every day people have a little training, and then they play with that training, and then they share what they learned and what their takeaways were. And if they want, they can also share a little video. So what I want to share with you today is some of the comments that people have made, because they're so fun. And to me, they're just so beautiful. So here we go. So Justine said, I had pure joy today because even though I have been playing harp for 20 years, I almost always play from sheet music or learn pieces by heart. Today, I could create something. That made my heart sing. Christina said, I love how you keep things accessible, but don't dumb things down. My big takeaway from day 2 is the value of freedom at the instrument. I find so many of my students struggle to find musical freedom, and I really think that this method of teaching improvisation via progression has great potential for so many players, myself included. So what we do in the 5-day improv challenge adventure is you are learning a progression, and that progression can kind of help you move to any key. It can also help you improvise because you learn how to break it down. Learning that progression also opens up improvisation on many different progressions, and that eventually can lead you to jazz, but you can also do it in any style that you want, from improvisation to folk to even classical sounding improvisation. And so different people are approaching it in different ways from this challenge, and these are their comments. And everyone is from all around the world, different levels of playing. So it's what I love is that they're all watching the same training, but each of them is developing it and exploring it at their own level. So Molly says, my biggest takeaway from me is working without sheet music and making my harp sing. Ina says, with structure is freedom, which is actually this challenge is part of the Structure is Freedom quarter in Hip Harp Academy. So she's describing, what this fits into, which is the idea that with structure, with creative structures or frameworks, you can get a lot of freedom. So she says, with structure is freedom, I am starting to see how this could be possible for me. Kate says, thank you for a fun day, and it is so fun to see what other people are seeing and playing. And that is one of the biggest fun things about the challenge, is that because everyone is sharing on the same thread, and you get to see what everybody else is doing, and everybody's exploring the same thing in a different way and discovering different things because of how they're exploring. It's just really fun to see what other people discovered exploring the same thing that you explored. And then that opens up discovery for you as well. So Kate is also doing something really interesting. She has 2 young harp players, and she's been sharing the challenge with them. She said yesterday that she wanted to see, what would they get out of it. And one of the things I really love that she said yesterday was that when it got a little bit too complex for them, they were just like, okay, let's just go play with what we got. And I remembered when she wrote that, I remembered when I was a kid, how great it was, when I was given something, I didn't need to understand the whole thing. Whatever I was given, that's what I went and played with. And that's what I hear Kate talking about these kids that she's working with, and she's taking the challenge at the same time. So she's exploring it in a different way. So about working with the two kids, she said, it continues to be sweet to share this with my young harpists. It's fun to see that they really are able to take most of this in and incorporate it on the harp. So fun. So I love hearing that because I played multi-generational music when I was a kid. I was playing with my mother and with my grandparents. And so the idea that this is being passed on, this multi-generational learning and this multi-generational fun, that's really meaningful to me. Kate also says, she says, my big takeaway was discovering the advanced videos today. They're just the thing for me. I wanted a little more to challenge me. It's been fun to try the advanced techniques, and I'm looking forward to doing some modulating. One of the things that I added this year was some specific advanced techniques, because this particular challenge adventure is very related to the most recent publication that my legacy project has put out, which is the advanced modulating warm-ups for lever harp. And we're going to be putting it out for pedal harp soon as well. So this particular, once you learn this particular progression, you will be able to use it in a lot of the publications that I'll be putting out coming up. And what I'm teaching in the advanced techniques is the technique that you use for this publication. And for me, this is really important because I am a performer, I'm a composer, and I have an online academy where I'm teaching harpists how to express themselves through improvisation, through self-expression techniques. And when I get to have a project that combines all of these things, or even just two of these things, that's especially exciting to me. So this challenge falls at the interstice between the modulating warm-ups that we've just published and what people are learning in Hip Harp Academy, which has to do with performing. So that's exciting to me, and it's exciting that when Kate is saying that she wants those advanced techniques, because I also love the fact that I can share the fundamentals of something as well as the advanced techniques. That's exciting to me because I started as an adult learner and I needed to make a living very quickly. And so learning how to simplify music and get the concepts and then play them the way that I was able to play them at the time, make them sound like they were real music, that was a very important technique to me. And that's one of the things that I love teaching. And that's one of the things that I do in Hip Harp Academy. At the same time, my career has taken me into, being able to do all this fancy stuff, which is also fun. So when I get to be in both worlds and when I get to be empowering harpists in both of those realms, like when you're just beginning or you're an intermediate player or a fledgling player, but you have all this musical heart and you want to be able to express it on the instrument, there is a way to do that by understanding what you're doing, breaking it down, and being able to play something at your level and to be able to embrace it as being beautiful instead of thinking, oh, well, this is only halfway there. No, it's all the way there. It's beautiful in its simplicity. And it's also beautiful because as you embrace the simplicity of learning something simple and playing it expressively, it begins to open up. If you understand how it works, it begins to open up to expansion. So that's why I love being in the middle of this challenge, where I'm getting to teach people the fundamentals of things and then how to expand those fundamentals, because that's I get to share from every single part of my life. So that's why I really love, what Kate, all the different things that Kate shared really made me feel like, yes, I'm on the right track here. I'm getting across what's important to me. So a couple more. Lori says, my biggest takeaway is that just keeping it simple with this basic technique is good enough, especially to start. lots of variations and possibilities just from this. And I really love how she's saying it is good enough. Good enough. That is such a beautiful thing. The idea that we are enough, that what we are doing is enough, is so important to get. And I just love that that's part of what she's getting from this challenge adventure. So 2 more here. Hildy says, practicing these luscious arpeggios with this progression is not only beautiful to hear, but it really helps to develop and maintain technique and dexterity. So I plan to warm up with them on a regular basis. Hildy, that is music to my ears, because what I love that Hildy did, I don't know that Hildy actually knows that what she's learning, there's a whole publication that, you know, where it really is all about warm-ups. I love that she's saying that that's what she wants to do with it, because then I'm like, and guess what, Hildy? We have the whole thing for you to play with. So that made me really happy. And then finally, Glenda said, I had a eureka moment translating Don't Get Caught, which is a way that we help people really get this chord progression really quickly. She said, I had this eureka moment translating Don't Get Caught to 2-5-1-6 and realizing that I could play it in any key. These comments are so exciting to me because what I see is people discovering exactly what I want to give them. So Hildy is discovering that what I taught in this challenge adventure is something she'd like to use as a warm-up. And I'm like, yes, and I have that warm-up for you to take. And Glenda is saying, and I discovered that I can put this in any key. And I'm like, yes, Glenda, in fact, that is exactly what you do with the modulating warm-ups. So it's just so, it's like magical to me to see this all come together and to see people getting out of something that I've created exactly what I was hoping they would get out of it. And then to discover that they're getting even more. Because every day when I go in and look at the comments, somebody has come up with something else that I hadn't even thought of. So if you have not joined the challenge yet and you play the harp, go to hipharp.com, where you will see, it'll be right up at the top of the page where you can join us. It is completely free. It is October 7th through the 13th. And even if you see this on the 13th, you can jump in because it'll still be open and you can still go through it. 5 days, and you have 2 more days to catch up on the weekend. Prizes every day for participation, and then a grand prize at the end for everyone who made it through the challenge. Even if you only made it through on Sunday night, everyone who makes through the challenge is eligible for the grand prize, which is 3 full months in Hip Harp Academy, which is the premier online learning academy for harpists who want to be self-expressed, who want to create themselves, who want to be self-expressed and creatively expressive with their instrument, and who want to do this with improvisation, to get off the page and to be able to self-express with their instrument. Thank you so much for being here, for being part of this, and I hope I see you in the challenge and in Hip Harp Academy.